One big step, the transition from high school to college. Hi and welcome to Brookdale Newsmakers, your source of what's happening in and around our campus. I'm Tim Cattlefamu, and joining me today is Dean Richard Pfeffer, Brookdale's Dean of Enrollment and Student Affairs, to talk about academic life on campus. Thank you so much for joining us today, Dean Pfeffer.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. I love it.
Now, one of the big things that I wanted to ask you is there's a big step going from high school to college, and I was just wondering, do you have a piece of advice or maybe a couple words of advice to students who are making that big transition from high school to college?
Yeah, absolutely. Don't make the mistake of thinking this is 13th grade. There's a myth out there, it's been out forever, that community colleges, junior colleges are kind of just, oh, it's a 13th grade. Nothing could be further from the truth. This is college in every sense of the word, and the demands and the academic rigor that the faculty are going to expect from their students is college level, period. And it bears no resemblance, and it's not to say that high school is easy, it's not, but this is another level. This is moving from kind of the minor leagues to the pros, for sure.
Certainly. Now, there are many misconceptions between a community college and a four-year college not quite being the same. I know that that's not true, but can you tell us why that is?
Yeah, absolutely. It goes back to this first point. What we're expecting freshmen and sophomores to do at Brookdale is the same as what every freshman and sophomore across the nation is doing in 2- and 4-year schools. And again, we talk about these things, but let me make this as tangible and as real as possible. We transfer students all over the country. Certainly Rutgers is one of our biggest transfer schools, George and Court and Monmouth because of their proximity, but we send people everywhere. Let me use Cornell and Columbia, two Ivy League schools, as an example. Last year we had students transfer to Columbia and Cornell. They came in as juniors. All that means is that Columbia and Cornell are confident that the work our students did at Brookdale, their freshman and sophomore year, was equal to the work their students at Columbia and Cornell did their freshman and sophomore year, or they're just not going to let them in as juniors. It is real.
It is just as good as the...
It is exact. In many cases, people would say it's better because some of the four-year schools, the Rutgers and the Cornells, are really geared more towards graduate. They're research assistants, they're kind of fellowships, they're looking for those sorts of things. It's not that they don't want to teach World Civ or English Comp, but that's not their passion. At the community college, certainly at Brookdale, our faculty are passionate about teaching those freshman, sophomore level courses. Classes are smaller in most cases. You'll never see 300 students in a history class. So a lot of people, and certainly at Rutgers or Cornell, would argue that the foundation in community college is even stronger than what they may be getting there.
And certainly the professors are very passionate. I know that
Absolutely.
firsthand. What type of responsibility should new students expect here? What responsibility should students need to uphold when they come here to Brookdale?
Again, one of the biggest differences between high school and college. In college, you are responsible for your actions. If somebody gets in trouble, if they act out in class, we're not going to a principal. We don't have a principal. We're not calling their parents. The Family Educational Rights to Privacy Act, federal legislation prohibits us from calling their parents.
Absolutely. Which is bad.
They'll come to the student conduct. And if those things go on their record, there are lifetime repercussions to that. When an employer 20 years from now calls and says, was Tim ever involved in a student conduct hearing? If the answer is yes, now you wouldn't be, but if the answer is yes, that's going to preclude them most certainly from getting that job. So their actions have very, very serious repercussions when you're in college as opposed to high school.
Very similar to having a driving ticket or a speeding ticket on your driver's license when you get interviewed for a job.
Absolutely.
Now, we're running short on time, but one last question. Where could new students, when they arrive here, if they're maybe struggling in their first semester and they need some help or guidance on certain things, where would you recommend that they go?
I would try to make a connection. Certainly the counselors are available. Certainly go to your faculty members, come to student life and activities or some of the support staff that we have in student affairs. Come to my office. I'm ready for that. There's resources all over the school. They just need to ask anyone and we'll point them in the right direction.
All right. Well, Dean Pfeffer, this is a very good interview. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks so much for having me. It was a great day.
All right. That was Dean Richard Pfeffer. For more information or to watch us on demand, log on to brookdalecc.edu. I'm Tim Cattlefamu for Brookdale Newsmakers. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.